Moin moin, liebe Vivi-Fam, herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall heute Abend hier zum Stream. Heute Abend schauen wir uns zusammen hier einmal den Livestream an mit Rhys und WomenXVeVe. Ich wünsche auf jeden Fall jedem hier viel Spaß und genau, wir schauen uns das Ganze jetzt heute Abend einfach mal an. Und vielleicht kommt ja jemand heute Abend hier auch mit rein, der gerne mit talken würde. Oha, schönen guten Abend auf jeden Fall hier an jeden, der im Stream dabei ist. Schaue ich mal gerade nur die Telegram-Gruppe, da sind 4 Leute drin. Hoppala. Herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall an jeden hier im Stream. Schön, dass ihr da seid. Wer ist denn hier alles von euch am Start? Gut, das Ganze fängt ja auch schon mal super an hier auf jeden Fall, direkt mit Verzögerung. Ja, können wir mal ganz kurz die Zeit nutzen. Schönen guten Abend auf jeden Fall, Marlon. Wir hatten ja heute hier wirklich etwas ganz Fettes. Ähm, und zwar haben wir einmal DS Automobile bekommen als Licenser unter anderem Citroën. Der eine oder andere wird sich jetzt denken, ja, das sind zwei unterschiedliche Marken, das ist richtig, aber tatsächlich gehören die zu einem Konzern. Das ist eigentlich echt mega cool. Schönen guten Abend auf jeden Fall, Sina Finlay. Schön, dass du da bist. Ja, ist auf jeden Fall sehr interessant, dass jetzt hier mehr oder weniger so ein Konzern mit zwei Marken auch reingegangen ist. Das eine, Citroën, ist so mehr oder weniger so die Basic-Variante für Autos, sage ich jetzt mal so für den normalen Mittelstand. Und DS Automobile ist mehr oder weniger so, hat sich so spezialisiert auf, ja, sage ich jetzt mal so schönes Interieur und ein bisschen hochwertigere Autos. Muss das Ganze mal anschauen, wie die ganzen Sachen hier aussehen. Citroën wird zum Beispiel einmal, also mittlerweile sehen ja sowieso fast alle gleich aus. Ähm, und dann haben wir nochmal DS Automobile. Da sieht man, glaube ich, schon Unterschied von dem ganzen, von der ganzen Ausstattung und so weiter her. Finde ich auf jeden Fall persönlich sehr interessant, was hier rausgekommen ist. Das Coole ist hierbei auch, dass das Ganze ab 2024 werden sozusagen auch alle Autos bei denen auf 100% elektrisch umgestellt oder Hybrid halt. Was natürlich für den Namen Vivi natürlich und so weiter mit CO2-Neutralität und so weiter natürlich auch nochmal sehr positiv ist. Ich meine, es sind jetzt nochmal knapp 2 Jahre, bis das Ganze dann umgestellt werden sollte. Trotzdem auf jeden Fall ist das nicht mehr so lang. Ja, jetzt warten wir hier eigentlich nur noch auf WomenXVeVe, dass es hier losgeht. Ähm, ja, weiß nicht, hat jemand von euch das hier schon gesehen und was ist da eure Meinung so dazu? Also ich kann nur sagen, ich finde das extrem krass. Also es wird jetzt ja auch nicht genannt, dass irgendwie zu einem bestimmten Zeitpunkt irgendwas hier erscheinen sollte. Aber was hier auf jeden Fall rauskommt, dass hier, oh, jetzt habe ich es vorbei, genau, dass hier sozusagen, ich kann das mal ganz kurz hier einfach mal übersetzen, dass hier sozusagen Citroën Concept Car NFTs verschiedener Raritäten sozusagen rausbringen wird mit Vivi zusammen und das Ganze nur exklusiv anscheinend auch auf Vivi erhaltbar ist. Das heißt, ja, wir sehen hier auf jeden Fall wirklich etwas, was es dann nur auf Vivi gibt, exklusiv, wie so viele andere Sachen natürlich auch. Und das ist auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr cooler Punkt, den man hier auf jeden Fall nicht missachten sollte. Und ich denke, wir werden hier auch in Zukunft, was zum Beispiel das Ganze mit dem ViviBS angeht, auch noch mit diesen Partnern zusammen auf jeden Fall einiges sehen. Ich kann mir sehr gut vorstellen, dass man zum Beispiel im ViviBS unter anderem halt diese Marken dann, wenn man dort diese Autos dann hat, auch benutzen kann. Wäre ein sehr, sehr cooles Feature. Das ist ja sowieso momentan so ein bisschen die Frage, ob man zum Beispiel den DeLorean fahren kann, dann im Viviverse oder halt auch zum Beispiel den Ghostbuster-Wagen. Das wird wahrscheinlich alles so kommen. Und mit Citroën und DS Automobile haben wir dann natürlich noch zwei andere Licenser mit dabei, die natürlich sich unter anderem auch mit so Fahrzeugen, sage ich jetzt mal, beschäftigen. Und es ist auf jeden Fall ziemlich spannend, ob das Ganze dann halt auch so im Viviverse verfügbar wird. Und ja, oh, sehr cool. Herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall hier an jeden. Ja, das müssten die ersten NFTs sein von Citroën. Habe ich jetzt tatsächlich gar nicht nachgeschaut. Können wir aber gerade mal tatsächlich nachschauen. Ich bin mir aber ziemlich sicher. Würde mich persönlich sehr wundern, wenn die hier irgendwelche NFTs haben. Findet man tatsächlich auch bei Bildern direkt hier Vivi. Das ist ja witzig.
Hi, Tiff.
Hi guys.
Oh,
What's the crack,
es geht
everyone?
los.
How's everyone
Sehr,
doing?
sehr schön.
Sorry we're late. There's a storm where Claire is.
Wir müssen mal sagen, wie das vom Sound so ist. Ist das, hört man mich immer noch gut oder ist das zu laut?
And we're tweeted, we good?
Oh no! So I've got.
Little bit.
Someone take over!
Well,
oh no!
Well, I think what we're going to do is this is kind of a soft relaunch of
Können wir
Women
ganz kurz
XVeVe,
schauen,
and Claire
vielleicht
was
können wir
going
auch...
Yeah,
to...
can you hear me?
This is brilliant.
No.
Okay, perfekt. Super, Dankeschön.
Am I
Simon?
okay now? Oh, because my internet.
Oh no.
Oh, right. Can you hear me? Everybody, I'm
Hat
sorry.
technische Probleme wie immer.
Yeah, we've got a storm here in Wales. Honestly, my fence has gone.
Fence is gone?
oh no.
Wenn irgendwas von dem Ton und so weiter nicht passt, schreibt das einfach gerne in den Chat und dann passe ich das irgendwie
So
an.
Greg, did you want to?
Und dann sollte das auch klappen. Ich bin persönlich echt sehr, sehr gehypt hier auf jeden Fall. Weil vielleicht bekommen wir hier heute auf jeden Fall nochmal ein paar Eindrücke, was Immutable X zum Beispiel betrifft. Wird auf jeden Fall spannend.
And while it's only been, what we talking about, Rhys? It's been like 2 months since we last had you on for a chat. There has been just a mountain of news, and so much has happened in that time that it might as well have been a year ago. It's really kind of ridiculous. So we are going to reintroduce ourselves, and I'm GrevFlo on in the fam, and in real life, I'm Jennifer. I'm a lawyer in Los Angeles. I work for a federal judge here in town, and I'm the mom of 2 teenage boys who Vivi and Omi with me, and that's my crack. So
Sehr sympathisch auf jeden Fall.
Love it. Hey,
Hi. Oh, sorry, go man.
Okay. I'm Mandy, or Miss Gecko. I'm a CPA. I live in the east coast of Canada. Just waiting for snow. We had snow about a month ago. I don't know if you guys remember seeing my Vultura sculpture in the snowstorm. All that snow is gone. We have a rainstorm today. So we're across the ocean from where Claire is. So I think we have the same storm that's going on right now. We all do. OBL, SJ, myself. We're all in that same little area across the pond, we call it. So welcome.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I am from Scotland, but currently living in England. You can find me on Twitter as SJ Adams, and I currently work for a fostering charity. It's my daytime job. Absolutely loving being part of the VV fam and the Akomi fam. So glad, so glad I found it when I did. And I've actually used some of the NFTs in photos on residentials with the foster kids, and they found it amazing. They were like,
Excellent.
wow. Yeah. So they absolutely loved it.
Awesome, man. Hi everyone, I'm OBL, or Orange Bag Lady. Same as these guys, part of the fam. Have been since March. Feels like a lifetime ago when we started this journey like together, and I had no idea about crypto or NFTs before this, and have gotten all of my knowledge from the fam, and like throughout this last 8 months now, 9 months going on. So yeah, super into all of the new developments that we're getting, and all the technology, the metaverses, all of that exciting tech to come. So yeah, it's definitely what's keeping me here, and the community, of course, for sake.
Wieder auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr spannend, was hier auf jeden Fall auch für Charaktere
Always.
dabei sind. Also wir auch,
And
ich
just in
glaube,
case anyone doesn't
3
know,
neue
my name's
Frauen sind
Rhys.
hier dabei.
I spend 12
Sehr,
hours
sehr
a
cool
day
auf jeden
answering
Fall.
when. That is my primary role. Yeah, I handle the communications, get to know the community, try to build that. Lately, I've been doing more on the crypto side of the company since the Honourable and Holy Reverend Alex G has come on board. Yeah, but day to day, I just help to run that and chat to everybody around. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on today again, dude.
No worries at all. It's great to be here. It's great to see the relaunch of this.
Oh yeah, it's a new channel, everybody. So you have to subscribe to the new channel. Someone just mentioned that in the comments. Thank you.
What is the what's the plans for the channel moving forward? Are you guys you're killing it with interviews before things went on hold? Is that still the game?
Yes. I think that we want to meet. Obviously we want to meet the team and chat with you guys and see what's going on. And also we're going to drag in some artists, and some surprises will be coming.
Yep.
We want to get to know some of the artists behind the scenes who are already on VeVe, and maybe some artists who are really dying to get on VeVe.
Awesome. Yeah.
Which
I think
cool.
it's a great resource to create.
Yeah. And speaking of staff, you guys just recently hired 3 new
Wenn jemand
developers,
übrigens von
right?
euch Lust hat, könnt ihr sehr, sehr gerne unter anderem auf den Discord kommen, auf den VeVe Discord. Dann können wir dort auch zusammen quatschen, wenn ihr darauf Lust habt. Link würde ich jetzt einmal reinschicken.
We're obviously horrendously aware of the lag time there in responding to tickets and things like that. So definitely been trying to scale that. With it obviously comes, a whole back end update as well to create different tiers of access and things like that for our support team. But very happy to have that underway and be able to respond in a much more efficient manner.
Awesome. I didn't realize that support staff meant for the support team, because in Canada, support staff usually means administration or, bookkeeping, that sort of thing. So that's amazing to hear. And in saying that, the couple of times that I've had to use the VeVe support, it really didn't take long for them to get back to me. So, I mean, if you have 2 more people on it, the wait time is going to be literally, nothing, right?
That's the intention.
Yeah, and that's excellent. That's great to know.
Yeah.
And Claire, you are back.
Yes. Is she with us?
Testing.
Kind of back.
Kind of.
I think it's part of the training of the support staff, teaching them how to take a sip from a fire hose. I think that should be
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Prepare yourselves.
I know. Oh, do you know what? Typical, isn't it? It just shows it's live, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I know, and you didn't lag the entire time we were chatting beforehand. Typical.
Yeah, that's right. So Claire,
When I was in the army, people used to provoke me saying that we had no electric in Wales. I'm starting to believe them now.
Amazing.
I'm sorry. So yeah, my name's Claire and I live in Wales and we have crap internet. So
Okay, kann sein, dass es anscheinend jetzt noch ein bisschen dauert hier, bis das Ganze dann jetzt final wirklich losgeht.
I suppose we wanted to do this today just as a new channel and
Okay. Da ist dann wohl einer raus. Auch nicht schlecht.
He'll come.
Rhys, you guys have had a really busy few months. Obviously, you've had the Disney news, lots of big news, Disney. You've got this new news about the automobiles, which is awesome. How are you guys? Obviously, we're on the other side of things, seeing all the drops come to us. You guys, it must be absolutely manic for you guys on the other side. Crazy. How are you guys feeling about all this news that you're sharing?
Obviously, we're super excited, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that we'd go through each week and people would yell at me like, "When multiple drops?" That was the old. So obviously, we've now drastically scaled that up to try and meet the demand from the user base. But look, that the start of last month, going into DCon, our first live event, Disney. The announcement alone was huge, let alone getting all of those assets together, all the video assets, all the content that goes out with it. So that was a big week. Then we did 16 drops at DCon, which was a terrible choice.
We had a week. The VeVe fam it was an amazing week, but it was exhausting, but we had the best time. Like, even though we weren't there, we were following along with you every step of the way. It was amazing.
Yeah,
sorry, continue.
No, you're right. Shout out to all the fam who came to DesignerCon. I swear every time I looked up, there was a live stream going this way or an interview over there. Such an amazing way to bring everyone in that couldn't attend. So, look, the lead up to both of those events was manic. The events themselves were manic. Everything since then, it feels like we've taken a bit of a breath, even though we're obviously still rolling with the content. We announced Jim Henson last week, Citroen and DS today.
Yeah.
We've still got Christmas on the way. It's every month is big around here, but
And Comey just hit 150,000 subscribers on Twitter.
Ja, das ist schon ein Meilenstein auf jeden Fall mit den 150.000.
We have to get a push on. I think we need 6,000 or 8,000 more to get to 150. And I see that Claire is back. Claire, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. We'll try mobile data in the hope that it's better than my Wi-Fi.
Oh ja, nicht schlecht.
Much better.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was okay up until I went live, so it honestly felt like the amount of times that our Wi-Fi has gone off a minute to 4, which is like a minute to drop time. You wouldn't imagine. So I now know the answer why I never get drops, don't I? It's because
that's it. Your kids are just unplugging your modem and plugging theirs in. That's the.
Yep.
Oh,
behind your back, Claire.
Just shows the show goes on. So thank you so much to everybody for covering me.
That it does. But
Schönen guten Abend, Yusuf. Herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall im Stream. Schön, dass du da bist.
Nice little breather since, and then we just seem to ramp straight back up again and roll on with the rest of the show.
I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I can breathe when it's comics because obviously the outlay is a lot less. But I think for me personally, the desire to own every comic isn't the same as wanting to own every collectible. So
you're on team collectible. Not that there's teams, but if there was a team collectible, team comic, I feel like you are team collectible. You are a master collector. We know that. And your collection's amazing, and we look forward to all the pictures that you share with us. We love them.
Yes.
We wait for them. For them.
That's how I know you're getting your exercise, Claire.
You see Matthew's comment? You remember when Claire almost fell in a river trying to make sure her Harley Quinn and Eeyore didn't go down the river?
I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. Dude, the commitment though. Claire, you gotta give it to her for the commitment.
You do.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing was actually believing that Harley Quinn was going down the river and this fear that $4,500 was just rushing away. I might not have fallen as quickly had it have been maybe a Mermicorno, but
under the bus Mermicorno.
Yeah. I love it.
I honestly feel like I'm probably speaking more to my VeVe collectibles these days because I spend more time with them, I think, than the hillside. come with me.
Well, I found out something recently. Greb and I have been, and Sarah have been collecting art. Like that's sort of where, not that we're not doing collectibles, not that we're not doing comics, we're sort of doing all three right now. We're branching.
Wie war eigentlich heute eure Jobausbeute? War die gut oder was habt ihr so gezogen heute beim Comic-Drop?
Where we put our sculptures is called a sculpture garden. So I found that out today.
Heck
So
yes.
I picture, Claire, you are going to have the most beautiful sculpture garden of Harley Quinn in the VeVeVerse.
100%.
Yeah.
But
And
after last night, him will be joining, so she's got competition.
I did see that. I did say
Yeah.
that acquisition.
Congratulations.
Yes,
That's a big one.
congratulations on him.
Gareth, my husband, asked me this morning, do you love me more than him?
Guys,
ask me next week. You toy.
Yeah, what was your answer, Claire? What was your answer?
I said it's too soon to ask.
Soon. Oh, poor Gareth.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, the attachment you have though is incredible to these collections. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm abnormal. I don't know.
No, that's absolutely something we've found since the start of this. You know, when you launch we're building this digital product for years, and as Dan would always say, you know, we didn't know if people would even like them. But in the last 12 months, I mean, the attachment, the meaning, whatever you want to call it, that people hold with their digital collectibles now is as strong, if not stronger, than in the physical world. I mean, I know a lot of us weren't physical collectors before this, or not as strongly as we are now. So to see people jump straight into digital collecting and attach that, you know, emotional side to the experience is that's amazing.
Like you guys have said as well, they're so easy to store and carry about. And I'm moving house this week. Thank God I don't have a whole load of collectibles to
Yeah.
all on my phone. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I love that you said, you know, we weren't sure if people were going to love them. 1 million active users a month love them. I'll tell you that.
What?
Ja, das ist schon auf jeden Fall ein echt krasser Fact, auf jeden Fall mit diesen 1 Million Usern. Ist natürlich immer noch die Frage, so, wie viele User das wirklich sind, ne, wegen doppelten Accounts und so weiter, aber trotzdem sehr, sehr, sehr krass.
Yeah, right.
What's happening? What is going on?
Rhys, 2 years ago versus now, would you imagine you went from 13K in revenue in January, which you guys were probably, holy shit, like this is amazing. Last month, 34 million.
Yeah.
Like last month.
I don't think people are understanding. Yes, we are selling out in less than a second, but this translates to a real world business. And we all know that startups don't last, and they don't, you know, at 5 years, 50% of companies are done. We just went from 13K revenue to 34 million, and we're not even mainstream yet. I mean, people still don't know what an NFT is. So that's part of, you know, what the WomenXVeVe want.
Da habe ich tatsächlich auch letztens eine sehr, sehr interessante Statistik dazu gezeigt, wie viele Leute wirklich darüber Bescheid wissen in Deutschland, was NFTs betrifft. Ich glaube, das waren so rund 94% oder 90%, irgendwie 84% waren das. Also das ist wirklich extrem wenig, die halt nicht darüber Bescheid wissen. Also 84% sind die Leute, die nicht darüber Bescheid wissen. Das ist schon echt krass.
To do is bring awareness to the mainstream about VeVe, about NFTs, about crypto. So it's been amazing to be along for the ride, honestly.
It's been amazing to be a part of it. I mean, you know, for that first 3 years, like we had no company revenue, right? I mean, we sold some secure wallets and things like that, but it wasn't. We were living off a pretty small raise in comparison to what our ambition was. And you know, there was a lot of times there where we didn't know if we were going to make it. You know, you're building, you're hoping. Even earlier this year, as I was saying to people, you know, we're hoping for 1 million users by the end of the year. I mean, that was more manifestation than it was expectation. You know, I was just putting that out there and you know, to pull out Disney before the end of year one, or, you know, at the end of year one, and then have that impact that you expect it to have as well. Yeah.
You guys manifested the shit out of this.
Yeah.
The shit
Yeah.
out of
Well,
this. Excuse my
we all
language.
did, right? I mean, everybody did
Yeah.
this. It wasn't. I didn't bring in 1 million users. I mean, you guys did. Like the whole fam has contributed to this success and the growth, which obviously benefits all of us in the long run as well.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. We've got all these numbers. The VV fam has grown and it's growing exponentially. It's incredible how many downloads a day. You're getting thousands and thousands of people onboarding. And then we can talk about the utility because Omi has, does it still have 60,000 wallets? Is that
160,000 wallets.
160,000 wallets.
That's what I was just going to say. When I saw that number, I remember when that number was a lot smaller than that. When, earlier this year, when I first was into Omi, I was just looking at the wallet size saying, wow, like, I just can't believe there's not more. So the 160,000, that's getting up to, and we're not even on the larger mainstream for crypto, not mainstream for, mainstream.
Exactly.
So 160,000 wallets to me, when I read that in the monthly update, I thought it was incredible, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's, as far as I'm aware, that's pulled from the Explorer, but it probably doesn't account for all of the wallets on exchanges and all of those things too, because exchanges tend to use that kind of one parent wallet.
Yeah.
So there's probably more, but to see that on chain as well, and to see how many people are holding that token, and then by comparison, we now have more than 1 million active VeVe users, which is potentially another, even at today's numbers, another 800,000 people we can introduce the token to.
Ja, und da denke ich, werden wir auch in der Zeit jetzt mit MCP und mit Omi Utility auf jeden Fall deutlich mehr Leute dafür gewinnen, weil es einfach extrem viele Vorteile hat.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Like, why not?
Why not? This is, and again, when we talk about the potential for VeVe, there is no standard here. There is no business practice. This is an emerging industry that we all are a part of right now, and we can't predict what's going to happen. You're right. Part of it is manifestation. It's the power of us being together, being the VeVe fam. And like you said, we love talking about the drops. We love getting them, even when we don't get them. We love talking about the fact we didn't get them. So the community is absolutely amazing. And I think, like, we all know that, and that's what's going to make this continue to grow. Like, again, over 1 million active users. Like,
wow.
It's unreal.
To put that in perspective, that means that they're opening the app, at least once or twice a month. I think 60 or 70% are opening the app 3 to 4 times per week, which is like, I think I've said this before, but you're looking at a retention rate of 65 to 70%. Normal app retention is like 3 to 4%, so when people look at these numbers, they understand what that actually translates to. It's like, we haven't just onboarded people, we're onboarding people who fall in love with this project and with the product. And look, we're not naive to the financial incentive of being involved. But then when you do get into the community, and as you said, everybody loves to talk about it, whether they get a collectible or they don't, and one of the most humbling things that I love to see, people will be sour that they didn't get a collectible, but congratulate everybody that did, and leave those.
Ja, das ist auf jeden Fall was man auf jeden Fall sehr schätzen kann in der VeVe-Fam. Was Rhys da anspricht, also das ist wirklich was sehr Bedeutendes auf jeden Fall, was die VeVe-Fam auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr positiv auf jeden Fall stärkt.
But it's an amazing and incredible feeling that we can all be there for each other. And, if someone does hit something huge, we're so happy for you. And it's really only going to keep, the light on VeVe and Ecomi, and more people are going to want to come in. More people are going to want to get in on the action, we'll say. And when you talked about Decon, think about again, every single one of those drops sold out in less than a second. Bang, 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 bang. And that's just with us that you have right now. Like, the potential it's unreal.
Yeah, truly. And Krebflow, I met your son at Decon, and you're not the only example of this, but when I get to hear stories of people saying that it's brought their family together, I know Claire, your whole family VeVe together too, and even amongst men who are typically, shy to mention these things, they'll come out and say, like, yeah, they now have a reason to talk to their brothers, or they're talking every day because they're doing you know, they're participating in drops and things like that. So that's been a really humbling part of the journey as well.
Well, to piggyback on that, we've had, you know, in spaces, there have been plenty of men who have even shed tears. We're coming out of, going back in. We've got COVID happening all over the world. We've all been stuck. We've all had our levels of depression, agoraphobia, whatever it is, and seeking that connection. And with whatever the political climate is, it's really toxic. So a lot of the men have found friends around the globe and have really opened up, and it's been emotional for both the women and the men, and really lovely. It's been a beautiful thing to see, because I would say the retention rate of positivity is very high as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's it. You know, the neg ferrets, as we call them, fall away.
Yeah, the neg ferrets, we just
they're always going to be there.
Yeah. And look, a lot of us have been here since February, March, April, around then. So we've seen these ebbs and flows, and then you understand that, okay, if we don't drop an announcement every 4 seconds, there'll be some FUD. And if there's like, you know, you come to understand it, and with each of these waves of new users and new fans, you know, the ones that really care and that do plug into the community stick around, you know, and it's a credit to everybody that we are holding on to so many amazing people and able to share this experience.
Yeah, it's very much big community. Did you see the Festivus? Did you see what happened on Twitter? You couldn't open up your Twitter feed for the last few days without it being giveaways. I don't know do any of you know what the final amount of the number was? I think people are still doing it, actually.
I think it was like 130 or 140 giveaways happened. And in saying that, whoever won my giveaway, you haven't contacted me to give me your comics. So
okay.
I'll try to seek you out again. Yeah. But that was an amazing thing that the community had put together, and everybody just jumped on board and was like, I want to be part of the Festivus. Let's do it.
You're right. You know, like we do the occasional giveaway, and we've started our own, but we're almost taking lead from the community in this now. I mean, you're right. Every time I open Twitter, there is a giveaway taking place. There's someone doing this or that, or celebrating a drop, or, you know, it's incredible.
John just said, sorry, OBL. John just said $20,000 worth of gems value giveaway. I mean,
holy shit.
Guys,
holy shit. Das ist krass. Das ist krass. Das ist auf jeden Fall wirklich eine sehr, sehr stabile Nummer und wirklich sehr, sehr heftig. Auf jeden Fall, was ja auch die Giveaways teilweise auf Twitter stattfindet. Ich glaube, als ich vor ein paar Tagen Twitter aufgemacht habe, alles voller Giveaways. Also wirklich extrem krass, was die Fam hier leistet. Auch unter anderem die Telegram-Gruppe beteiligt sich ja unter anderem auch dort. Sehr, sehr heftig auf jeden Fall.
It is about the conversations that people have, and like what you were saying, guys, about all of the opening up that happens, and all of the connections that are like made through VeVe, and through the nostalgia, and through like all of the emotionalness that comes with all of this. But yeah, it's just super unbelievable to see like all of these layers kind of
and now
built,
we have nostalgia, you know, in the family.
over time. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen
We've built up a history now.
Giving away NFTs of the green truck, because we all know the green truck's going to go away. So the OGs really want this green truck because
we need it.
We need the green truck.
Yeah, we absolutely need it.
We have nostalgia inside the app that's already full of nostalgia, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, and even the clock gates and the gem gates and the, you know, like,
we love every kind of gate.
Yeah.
And we saw in the last month as well, we saw some subgroups breaking out, like the VeVe Ape Gang. I don't know what they're called now, but I was like totally intrigued, like watching what they were doing. They were having logos, they had groups together. I think Hitmonkey also has a group. Yeah. So it's really
Hitmonkey ist echt sehr, sehr krass geworden, muss ich sagen. Weiß nicht, hat jemand von euch auch einen Hitmonkey Comic?
Someone else is into comics, and you can be a part of the VeVe fam on so many facets. Many facets. Yeah.
Exactly. And look, that was not the subculture thing wasn't necessarily part of the plan, but we always knew that we would bring in different fan bases and different types of collectors, you know, and through that, and really we've probably taken the sub community thing from other communities, right? Because that's how, say that, like the Bored Apes have bootstrapped their community by giving more utility on a community basis. So to see these now forming under all of the branches of collectibles or brands is pretty incredible too. And it really just goes further to compounding that community and that connection, right? You now have your own little bubble within our bigger bubble, and it expands from there. Yeah.
Oh yes, and I didn't mean to count out the Discord family. They have been doing giveaways for months.
Forever.
So yeah, forever. And and also they've been so generous. So I didn't want to overshadow them with Festivus. Just highlighting just another giveaway. And then also in Spaces, you can pop on there and they have a couple beers and all of a sudden they're just giving away stuff. You wake up without anything in your account. But yeah, the community on a whole has been very generous. And the minute someone pops into Spaces and they're like, what is this? I have no idea what you're talking about. Everyone kind of chills out, welcomes them, kind of gives them a little tutorial, and usually drops something in their account and asks someone invariably always asks for their QR code so that they can get something. So yeah, the family's been welcoming in. You guys are doing it right, and you're cruising on the ship, driving the ship, but we're definitely the good support.
Oh yeah, you guys are the power.
And I mean, yeah. And just piggybacking on that as well, I just want to do a shout out to the Discord team and the official VV, because they work so hard, the moderator team there, honestly, and it's an absolutely amazing space for people. It's full of resources. We also get Alex, who gives us some nuggets, and sometimes we get to know what the drops are.
He did give me a nugget for later if you want to know about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, just a shout out to the Discord team, and we also have a dedicated VV Women channel there as well. So yeah, honestly, thank you, Wikomi team, for your support with us as well on this channel as well.
No problem. We appreciate this more than you could know. So it's the least we can do.
So Claire, did we have a couple of questions for Rhys? I know we sort of went off on a little, we had our informal chat beforehand.
Sehr schön, jetzt kommen wir endlich zu den Fragen. Das wird jetzt sehr, sehr spannend. Die Frauen haben ja doch da immer sehr, sehr gute Fragen auf jeden Fall sich mal überlegt.
There were a couple of areas that we just wanted a little bit of a synopsis on, so we can share with the new team members.
Sehr schön, guten Abend, Chris. Herzlich willkommen auf jeden Fall hier bei mir im Stream.
Is evident when you see it in the community, and we use jargon without realizing we use jargon. So I suppose one that people I hear ask about is MTL. What actually is it, and also what it's not when it comes to crypto. So
we almost need our own glossary of terms when people join the community. So, but that's a great place to start. So the MTL is a money transmitter license. What it essentially allows us to do, and we've integrated a third-party MTL, is to offer financial services. For us, it's in the form of a payout or a cash out in many jurisdictions. Now, without a money transmitter license, we would have had to apply for a financial services license in every jurisdiction that the app operates in, and that would be years of work and just unnecessary muckabout. So the money transmitter at the moment is undergoing some fantastic testing with our small team and a few extra people now. It will be available through the web wallet, and most people don't know that exists. So there's a web wallet that lets you do gem and OMI transactions once they're enabled in the app. But essentially, it's going to let you cash out of the app. So you could sell your collectibles for gems, and those gems convert back into dollars, and you can withdraw those to your bank account. That's the core utility of the MTL, at least to start. Now, eventually, the idea is that MTL will allow you to also buy collectibles listed in OMI tokens, and the MTL will facilitate that token purchase. So rather than having to learn how to go to an exchange, understand blockchain and crypto and keys and all of those things, you can buy it using your credit card still through the money transmitter, and it will send OMI tokens to the seller. There will be other uses of it eventually as well as the VVverse and things builds out, but I'll probably hold off on that just so that we don't confuse too many people.
So initially, is it that people can change gems, only to what we would refer to as fiat, so the currency that they use
That's
in their country.
That's correct. Yes, it's that's the way things are set up at the moment, and that will be the sort of the first batch of transactions. Once we move to the web platform, and as we all know, crypto is only becoming more and more adopted. We might get to a point where you could trade them back for USDT instead of US dollars, and keep it in the crypto ecosystem instead of moving it back to fiat or a bank account. But that's a down the line kind of thing.
Das ist auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr
I
positiv.
suppose another thing that people might hear us all discuss is immutable X, and what is immutable X, and why is VeVe moving over to immutable X type of thing, really?
Okay, so at the moment we are built on GoChain, which is a blockchain in and of itself. And when we first started building VeVe, that was one of the only chains that we could access with high throughput. Basically, it did all the things we needed it to do. Right? Ethereum at the time was pretty busy, more so now. So it was definitely the right choice to move across. Ethereum is a layer 2 solution built on top of, Immutable X is a layer 2 solution built on top of Ethereum. As a layer 2, and because the technology has advanced so much since we started to build this, we can now get the same sort of transaction throughput, efficiencies, all of the underlying mechanisms that we need, with the added bonus of the security of Ethereum, which is the most decentralized and most...
Was meinst du für Gewinne, Chris?
Second to Bitcoin, maybe, but Ethereum's better. So essentially, it enables us to move the platform to Immutable X. From a user standpoint, absolutely nothing changes. Right? If you're a VeVe collector, if you only use the app, if you don't have the OMI token, all you're going to experience is a market outage when the minting takes place, and then it's just back to running as normal. For token holders, because we're moving the app to Ethereum, essentially, and we all want to use the token within the app, we also have to migrate the OMI token from GoChain to Ethereum. And I'll put out instructions and articles as to how that will take place when the time comes.
And then just because the next Fedits have got a hash line, not real NFTs, what's your response to that?
We've responded to this too many times in our lives. So when we first set out to build VeVe, the easiest way to probably think of it is you have public and private blockchains, public and private companies. We're a private company built on a blockchain. Now, the only way we could secure a lot of these licensing deals, especially in the few years where nobody understood what an NFT was to build this in a much more private manner. As we refer to it, the security walls are up. You can't send your NFTs out of the app. All of those things require additional contracts, agreements, and all of those things.
€3.
And from a product point of view, I mean, keeping people in-house obviously isn't a bad move when you're starting out as a business. Now that people do understand NFTs and
Wo hast du denn die €3 rausgezogen?
Used to be integrated. Once we move to Immutable X, we can bring those walls down, which means that you'll be able to send them externally to other wallets or apps, license or depending. And I guess it just brings it more in line with what people currently consider to be, the point of NFTs, or that sort of mentality around them. Sorry, guys.
Oh. Hoppala, das war nicht bei mir.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I was just going to add to that point, Claire. I think it's a really great question, and I think because of how quickly this buzzword NFT, and even words like metaverse and all of this are now kind of making their way into the mainstream. And the first thing that people who obviously maybe don't know about VeVe, the first thing that they will think of when you say NFT will be something like a Bored Ape, or something that lives within that kind of ecosystem, and it's sort of treated like you said, Rhys. So is like OpenSea a public? Would that be like a public blockchain versus something like what we have? It's more of a private.
Yeah, so OpenSea now is essentially
die €3, ich glaube, da wird das Finanzamt jetzt auch nicht wirklich hinterherlaufen.
From all the NFT NFT
absoluter
trading,
Profi-Flipper, wie
they
Yusuf
probably have
schon
about
schreibt.
90% market share of the NFT space at the moment, outside of our platform. But they're actually, to my knowledge, OpenSea currently runs on Ethereum layer 1, the original Ethereum blockchain. They will also soon be available on, say, Immutable X or Polygon or whatever. So it's actually almost like the app is moving and launching on each chain, which allows these kind of transactions to happen. I will just take a moment to explain a little bit of Immutables tech. So they run, it's based on ZK rollup technology, right? Which basically lets you bundle up a whole bunch of transactions, save on the gas fees and the computational power, which is the gas fee essentially. Yeah. But they use a type of rollup, I think it's called a Validium rollup.
Welches Thema meinst du, Chris? Meinst du das Thema mit dem Flippen oder welches meinst du?
The interval is, they commit the proof, the ZK proof of all of those transactions to the base layer chain. And that's the verification and security that takes place there. It works much in the same way as an exchange does now, right? If every time you're trading crypto on an exchange, that's not happening on chain. That's happening on their databases
within the exchange.
It's committed on chain, right? Or moves from their wallets. So it happens in a similar manner to that. But that's how you get those efficiencies. You're not paying gas every time I need to send an NFT to you or we sell one or anything like that, which is how they get that huge reduction in environmental footprint as well, which was obviously crucial to our decision making.
Oh, huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I suppose it's just an opportunity for you, because I know you've been busy working on the OMI utility and the article that you brought out, and I know people will have heard it being discussed but might not actually understand what it's about. So basically what it is in a nutshell, and the fact that we can still feedback and it's an evolving document.
Ja, das stimmt leider. Das ist vielleicht...
Utility, you mean?
Chris, was du meinst, ist, glaube ich, halt einfach auch so das Problem, dass, ja, ich würde jetzt nicht sagen, dass es unbedingt zu wenig kommuniziert wurde. Ich fand, es wurde eigentlich recht häufig kommuniziert. Es ist halt, glaube ich, bei vielen Leuten einfach noch nicht so ganz angekommen und viele haben das Ganze nicht verstanden. Also ich habe, glaube ich, bestimmt in dem ein oder anderen Video wirklich darüber auch geredet, dass es halt einfach sehr, sehr kompliziert ist und dass es halt von dem Lizenzgeber abhängt. Viele wollen das nicht so ganz glauben, es ist aber tatsächlich leider so und deswegen, ja, muss man vielleicht doch nochmal mehr aufklären, kann schon sein, Chris, aber also ich muss sagen, so persönlich, klar, ich beschäftige mich auch ziemlich viel damit, aber ich finde, es wurde schon echt sehr, sehr viel darüber geredet, wenn man sich informiert. Schönen guten Abend, Peter, schön, dass du dabei bist.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're right. So once we move to Immutable and then can start to build in all of these new features, which all happen on smart contracts, right? It's the development time, like you're actually coding an autonomous contract that can execute these functions, at 1,000 times a second or whatever needs to happen. But the OMI token has always been designed as a utility token, which means we need to give it some utility. Now that core utility is transacting in the market with other users. So you'll be able to buy and sell peer-to-peer using the token instead of gems. Why would you want to do that? A lot of people are facing fees when putting fiat into the app, right? There's a digital asset fee that's imposed by the EU now, I think. Currency conversion fees. There's limits on how many gems you can load per day, things like that. So obviously the OMI token becomes a better option on that front. But it also lets you transact in larger amounts, and frankly, people bought this token for that utility. So it's crucial that we return that. On top of that, we add a lot of new fun things. So the first thing we're going to add is a staking program. And just to note that, I think we're looking to add 2 more staking tiers as well, which will have other benefits and access that will come out in version 2. But the staking program, is designed to support the token, basically. It gives you access to things in the app. It helps you build your digital collections. If you're part of the Master Collector program and the OMI staking program, you can double dip on rewards and
das hört sich sehr, sehr gut an, ja.
Fundamentally should improve your collecting experience, or at least give you a better chance of getting some of your favorite items. But what it also does is lock up the token supply, right? And it locks it up for a predetermined amount of time, adds a lot more stability to the token value or the token price, and basically gives us a better measure of how many tokens are in circulation. So that's kind of the core purpose of the staking program within the utility program. The other things we have are like the OMI drop raffle, where depending on your staking tier and your participation, you'll receive X number of tickets, or you can buy into the raffle, which would give you a better chance of claiming your favorite collectible as well. Obviously, we're going to be rolling out a heck of a lot more collectibles, different verticals, all of those things. So as people start to explore their fan bases, it really gives you an opportunity to collect the things you want, or a better chance to anyway. So that's the core premise of the OMI utility: to create better uses for the token, uses in general, better access to build your collection, and benefit the overall tokenomics.
And then part of that, there'll be more burn as well, won't there?
There shall indeed be more burn, yes.
Burn, baby, burn. Let's go.
Baby, burn. We are, almost every OMI transaction will have some sort of burn transaction there. Whether it's part of the fee or an extra portion. We've collected everybody's feedback from version 1. Is that my mic that's being a little hot there?
Yeah, there's a wee bit of feedback somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll try to talk a little. We've collected everybody's feedback from version 1, and built out the program from there, which was always the intention. We wanted to see how it was received. I have good ideas, but a million people have better ideas for the most part. So it certainly makes it easier to compile that info and to deliver a program that meet people's expectations, and really the incentives have to be strong enough to encourage you to go and buy tokens, right? If you want those advantages, because then that benefits everybody in the ecosystem. So that's the fundamental idea behind the program. And I think version 2 will make people pretty happy compared to version 1.
Das hört sich auf jeden Fall schon mal sehr, sehr gut an. Und ich denke, Version 2 wird deutlich interessanter werden.
In the world takes feedback from their customers like this. You guys made $34 million, yet you're listening to every single one of us, like every single one of us on Twitter, on Discord, on DM, like calling you, emailing you. I think that is such an amazing quality about VeVe, and obviously Dan and David bring that special something. They bring that special, they call it the zhuzh factor. You can't put your finger on it. They're there, and I found it actually. I finally figured out, and I think I posted it on Twitter, when I moved over into collecting the art pieces. I didn't have, the feeling to, I need to flip this, I need to do that. I was content with my purchases, and now, like Claire said, they're sort of like my Harley Quinns. I don't know, even when we go to IMX and we're going to be able to have interoperability, even if, the value goes up exponentially, am I even going to want to let them go? Like, I want them in my art gallery in the VeVeVerse. So I finally, it clicked in what they were trying to do and teach us. And I think that hopefully the VeVe fam teaches that to the new people that are coming in. This is not just about money. This is not just about flipping. It's not a quick thing. And yes, there are times people get a secret rare from a $6.99 comic. Absolutely. And that's the magic about it. But
I think David's crying somewhere right now of happy tears with what you just said. Right? We're all trying to get every single drop, and it hasn't even saying collect what you love.
Collect what you love, right?
Collect what you love, and this
Ja,
is
kann ich nicht nur anschließen.
There are some. Well, I mean, I've been collecting almost every single drop, and now, like I said, I've switched over to my art, and I feel more content with my investment. I'm happier when I look at it, and like OBL said, it's sort of opened me up to a whole other realm of art and collecting. It's mind-blowing what VeVe has done to change my life, and I'm sure that everyone has a similar story.
I remember, Mandy, weren't you big into the comics? You were hard
I had
on
two
comics.
of every comic. That was my thing. I was like, Yeah, and I was like, when I saw those art pieces, and actually I just picked up the black and white Cat Trooper.
I saw
I
your new
just
profile
picked 'em up.
picture.
Yeah, and
So nice.
I think there's only like 63 left in the market, and I was starting to get nervous. And I had never felt like that before, because I was like, once these are gone, like, who's gonna put these back on the market? So anyway, I finally got it. What they're trying to teach us. This is collecting is special. It's
And not
special.
it's not just a possession. You touched on it there. You know, you said you with these art pieces, like, you don't just like collecting them, you like to look at them, right? And it feels strange because it's a digital thing, and at the moment we're still tethered to the phone, but we really are building for this wearable future that we're all going to be in, whether you want it or not, right? And at that point, you're not tethered to the phone. You know, people can walk in and see the new piece you just collected on your wall instead of, you know, in a device, right? And yeah, I think at that point we really blur the lines between the physical and digital collecting world, and that's why we keep saying collect the things you love. I mean, you want to hold them, you know. I think, don't get me wrong, people probably have their long-term holds and their short-term holds the same way you kind of interact with crypto and those things. But it's amazing how satisfying it is when you work your way up to that collectible you've been trying to get for a while, and you finally get the gems, and it's cool to see.
Was man auf jeden Fall generell mal sagen kann, man sollte sich auf jeden Fall, was das Ganze angeht, eine Strategie überlegen, was man so alles sammeln möchte, weil ich glaube, sonst landet man da recht schnell im Chaos, würde ich so persönlich empfehlen. Ich denke, Chris kann mir da zustimmen, was das Ganze angeht. Du spezialisierst dich ja mehr oder weniger auf Comics. Ich weiß nicht, wie macht ihr das momentan? Sagt ihr, hey, okay, ich sammle wirklich nur irgendwie Comics oder nur Collectibles? Könnt ihr mal gerne in die Kommentare schreiben, würde mich mal interessieren.
Yeah, I think I'm a pure example of that. I think what I'm also
Ich meine natürlich im Chat, nicht in die Kommentare.
Some people find it strange is the ability to lend, you know, pay to hire somebody's collectible, because for me, Donny is something I would like to go out and play with for a few hours, because I could never afford him in reality unless I was going to financially ruin myself. But to be able to just go out and have that set for that couple of hours, have that photo shoot, hope the weather's kind to me at that particular time, and just have that memory in my phone to know that, you know, I could pretend for a few hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's you've got an incredible collection, Claire, you know, and to be able to set up your gallery and then maybe charge people rent to come into your gallery in the VVverse to see these things, right? Because eventually, if we do have the multi-millions of users, like some of these collectibles will be really hard to come by, you know, and same goes with the renting. Like, maybe you need to hold certain collectibles to access an experience in the VVverse, and you don't have them, but you can rent them from someone and enjoy that for a day as well. So it's not just the collectible, or you're kind of giving yourself access to other experiences, you know. So yeah, when we look ahead to that, it's a cool, fun way for people to make a little bit of income from their collections, but it could open access to a lot of other things for that amount of time as well.
And I mean, for me, I'm just glad that I can go out and play with my collectibles and they don't devalue, because I'd hate to see the state of my Harley Quinn.
Dragging her up the mountain.
She'd be down the river.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
So you guys have had another busy week, Rhys. You had 2 announcements today of Citroen and DS automobiles. We've got Amazing Spider-Man #3 tomorrow, and AMA on Thursday. So
and AMA on Thursday.
Busy week.
Yeah.
Busy
Is there
week,
ever a regular week? I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, amongst all the Christmas giveaways, we do have our own festive drops that you can expect as well. So, you know, in that week around Christmas, I think we'll be releasing some pretty fun things.
Any hints?
I can't hint on those. I can't hint on.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Close, Claire. Close.
You'll enjoy them. You'll enjoy them. I can hint on.
Das ist natürlich eine sehr, sehr gute Sache, Peter.
Alex sent me a little nugget. Hang on. Look.
Hört sich auf jeden Fall gut an.
Alex,
I have a nugget. Let me make sure I'm not going to give away anything else on my screen.
Do you not? Are you sharing your screen? What?
All right. So this is
Drum
Thursday's
roll.
drop, actually. So, the bio. When teenager Chris Powell finds a mysterious amulet, he is transformed into the superhero Dark Hawk. Marvel's Dark Hawk #1 features VV exclusive rare and ultra rare covers by Ron Lim and will be dropping in blind box format on Thursday, 8 a.m. PT.
Woo!
We got a. Can I share my screen? Let's have a look.
Dark Hawk.
Dark
Oh, das
Hawk.
sieht sehr gut aus.
Out. Well, you might need to give me permissions to share my screen, I think. Oh, wait. Here we go. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, 1 second.
You can see the cover there?
Here we go.
Oh,
Das sieht aber sehr, sehr cool aus.
Oh,
Also ich muss sagen, das sieht wirklich, wirklich cool aus.
Rhys, thank you, dude.
Was sagt ihr dazu?
Thank Mr. Alex.
Was sagt Chris dazu? Chris, bist du noch dabei?
Thank you. You're ledge.
So
Heck
good.
yes,
And
man.
my son just texted me, is your market still closed? It's
I
been
know.
a long time.
I know. I just checked mine too. I was like, need to get
Yeah.
in and check that
People
out.
are having withdrawals, Rhys, from not
Well-
being in this
well-
marketplace, from it not opening. Like, you
Well,
know.
like I said to you, I was
Funny.
talking to my Alexa and I was like, why can't you?
Oh,
this-
yeah,
I
yeah.
play this playlist every single day. Like, how come you're not picking up?
Mhm.
But I think that's due to the same issue. So we're all patiently waiting
We're
for that.
all in this together.
Yeah. It looks like I'm not sure, but I think Disney Plus was down as well. I think a few other things have been down, so it might be an AWS thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as
Heck yes.
Alex and Noah have more, I'm sure they will tweet about it.
Oh yeah, they keep us informed.
On
They-
top of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 3 comic drops this week. Wow.
3 comic drops this
We
week.
love
Wow.
comics. We love comics.
Yeah,
Keep 'em
yeah.
coming.
Comics are great. We do have 2 types of collector now, right? With the collector, the physical premium models, or the comics, or even the artworks now. It's starting to become its own stream. But comics are just such a good introduction to a new user base as well, because it is a low point of entry.
Yep.
You know, the higher editions mean that you are more likely to be able to snap one. And of course, as we've all learnt, I mean, even getting a common is amazing now, but if you do get a rare or ultra rare, or so, I mean, you're in. You don't
Yeah.
need at that point.
Yeah.
Hooked.
Yeah, it's
And
good to have that.
Totally.
that is a really good point. And I was actually speaking with, it was a Tez artist that I had purchased some art from last week. And he was asking me about VeVe, and I shared everything with him. I said, listen, this week is perfect. We have a comic drop coming today. I shared the link with him, and I said, this is a really good price point to get in at. So the comics are an amazing introduction. And, if you do land that magic, that can totally change your whole VeVe experience. If you get a secret rare, or, even an ultra rare at some points, that can jumpstart your collection. I did see somebody had, they're trying to go from $10 to, was it a Rizzo, or what were they going to? It was recent. It was like yesterday or the day
Yeah.
before. They were trying to flip their way, and I think they might have gotten a 3-digit comic today. They were like, I'm on my way.
No.
So it's so exciting, because even though this is one company, we can diversify in so many ways. And Rhys, you keep talking about the verticals. Like, that's all I keep thinking about, the verticals in this. And I think that's part of my decision when I changed over to collecting what I now collect, is that the verticals are just going to come, like when the sports are going to come. Is that truly something for me? Do I want to collect that? And wouldn't it be better for someone who truly loves that sport, person, that team, to get the opportunity to get it, instead of me, who's going to go in and get it just to sell it afterwards? So there's a lot of thinking comes from that. And again, not only within Comey and VeVe, it's Omi as well. So there's so many facets to this. It's an investor's dream, really.
That's exactly how I feel about it, frankly, to be honest. And a perfect example, Citroen and DS today, right? We've already announced General Motors, so people know that vehicles are a vertical. Now, there's a lot of automotive fans out there. I'm personally not one of them, right? But I absolutely know that we're going to walk into people's homes in the VeVeVerse, and they might have a basement garage with their favorite 8 cars there, or things like that, right? And when it comes to concept cars, I mean, a lot of these vehicles were never made in production, right? Or there's like one of them floating around somewhere. So to bring those kind of space age futuristic vehicles into the digital space, which, let's be frank, is a bit of a warm up for these brands and licenses, before they go putting their production cars in as well. But they're going to look way cooler than
Heck yes.
normal mum and pop car driving down the road. So, that's just one, as you say, that's just one potential vertical. And because of the scope of those products and verticals, I mean, I keep thinking we're going to get to a point where you'll only be able to collect what you love, but Claire has proven me wrong on that front. but we will at some point.
She loves everything, though. She loves everything.
True.
That's the thing, right?
She does.
Yeah, so collect away, right? But,
to be fair, I did say at the end of season 2, I'm only going to buy what I love. I'm putting the brakes on. First drop, Harlequin. Thank you very much. So that wasn't Disney. Oh my lord, you were.
We actually
me, I can tell you.
we talk to your kids in private, Claire. We're like, what will Mum want this time? Well, all right, we'll drop that.
Maybe season 4, Claire.
Oh, it'd be done. But hier, just to
ja, das ist auf jeden Fall ein sehr guter Move auf jeden Fall, Peter, dass du da versuchst wirklich zu differenzieren, was du halt auch machen willst. Ja. Macht schon Sinn. Auf lange Sicht auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr gut.
Like there's so many people that have, like you said, Mandy, you've completely switched. You were like a comic buff, and now you're like an art curator. You're getting your own gallery on the go. And I need to give a huge shout out to Izzat from the Spaces, because today, because I know him and Tash, they're super Star Wars fans, right? So, they'll come up and talk about all of that. Izzat hasn't been up as much, but today, when this announcement came out, dude, he's quite kind of quiet, but today came up onto the speaker and was just like, I have so much freaking knowledge about this to share with you guys. I am such a super fan, and like you said, Rhys, the concept cars and like being able to obtain stuff through this app that people in real life will never be able to own. And yeah, just the fact that you guys are still, there's only like a couple of branches right now with the different things. But yeah, and just the way like having this brand or having this vertical come out, and then you've got all these people coming out of the woodwork, that have been kind of sitting in speakers or sitting in the audience for a little while, and then VeVe brings out something that they're really passionate about and can get up and freaking talk about, educate people, talk with other people that they have, similar interests. So yeah, big shout out to Izzat and Tash, because I know he's super excited for this one.
Yeah,
so.
and big shout out to everybody who spends their time to create value for other people like that, and as you say, people might sit in the shadows and listen to these spaces for a while until something comes up that they're a fan of or they know, and then you will see the YouTube channel start to tell you about collectible cars, or you'll see, not that we set out to facilitate that, but to see these verticals enable that within the community and therefore benefit everybody in the community, right? I don't know that much about these collectible cars, but I'm sure I will from someone in the spaces or from someone in the video, right? And
or in the Discord or in the on Facebook or there's just so many communities and spaces now that VeVe is just pulling this information and passion out of folks, and like I know a bunch of us in here would never have said we would have collected what we're collecting and talking about what we've talked about and everything. So
absolutely. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's brought so much awareness to even artists and designers, and it's incredible just getting to know them as well, and finding their art and realizing that you love something that you never knew you loved before.
Exactly.
It's good in that sense.
Yeah, the exposure that's brought to the artist. We've got artists on VeVe who've come into spaces and dragged in their friends who are artists, and I'm getting to know somebody in Los Angeles that's an artist in real life, and now you've got these, I say in real life, they're still artists in the digital world, but some of the fine artists are now, I've heard a little bit of a chitter chatter in the background over these past few months. not great. A few people that I know, like in my work and in my real life, who aren't in the digital world, talking about what's going on with art and what's going to happen and concerns that they have. And now you're seeing these fine artists dipping their toe in the water and looking at the space. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited right now. Like Mandy and Sarah and I are meeting these new artists and doing it. We're going to be priced out in 2 seconds. So being there right now while the big toe just hits the water, it's a very, very exciting time to be in the space. And then to hear artists talk about what can I do to get on VeVe? It's really pretty great.
Yeah, that part is incredible to me. I mean, a few of us saw it at DesignerCon. The Lincoln skateboards dropped. VeVe fam bought all their skateboards in the first 5 minutes. Right?
They were sold out before.
Right, and they said to me, like, we thought we brought enough for the whole weekend, and like they didn't even last the first night.
What?
People wanted to pay them, and like that's cool, right? And then you consider that brands like Marvel and Disney, like, we've become a merchandising partner, right? So they haven't just thrown their weight behind us. Like, they released Hitmonkey on Hulu, they wanted to release Hitmonkey on VeVe. So the digital product is actually starting to supplement the physical, whether it's a show or a product. So many of us have gone out and bought the comics that go with our digital comic, or people are collecting the Todd to go with it. Like, it's crazy, right? And then you take into account things like USPS, right? And people have kind of said they've been struggling for quite a number of years, still have such a huge network and employee base. VeVe can potentially supplement their business so that they float, or it may become a leading revenue stream for them, and those kind of possibilities are incredible as well. Then we get into conservation, for example, right? If we end up with National Geographic, we could do a white rhino release, right? I think there's one or something, right? And
do you remember you told me I asked you that question months ago, and you were like, we couldn't license a cheetah. Who are we gonna get a license for a cheetah off?
Schönen Abend dir noch auf jeden Fall, Peter. Schön, dass du da warst.
But that potential is to really
to do good.
We did it with Givenchy, right? We raised money for I can't remember the charity now, but perfect example, right? And we can definitely start to open up those kind of things and have fun with all of this. Like, it'll be
demographics.
Nice.
Can we talk about the demographics? That that wasn't, I think, the intention in the beginning of where VeVe was going to hit that sweet spot. It's the 7 to 70, right?
It is, yeah. We definitely thought it would be your sort of a younger teenager, young adult sort of age range or whatever, and like, it's everybody now.
And then you have us.
And then we have
just a little bit older than the teenage years.
Yeah, but like the fact that it does resonate across all age groups, is incredible in itself, and it lets us offer things like MGA, or some licenses that are better suited to a younger audience. Some licenses like Labyrinth, that was before my time, right? I'd never seen it, but I know
I
Jim
feel old now, thanks.
I know the numbers, but it means we can hit different audiences, pull on those heartstrings wherever it kind of lands, based on that, nostalgic value, but also the fun and the incentives that are behind the platform. So,
100%.
Yeah. I think I was just laughing, thinking of the first appearance of David Bowie.
When David Bowie statue.
When
Bowie.
So many incredible pieces that you could pull from that movie. Like, the possibilities are literally endless. They're infinite. So again, take the vertical. Take one piece out of the vertical. That has verticals, horizontals, sideways, everywhere. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were like, oh, we've got, before we launched 5 licenses, or, then we were excited about 50. And then for the longest time, it was more than 100. I mean, we have hundreds of brands and artists and licenses now. It's just
bonkers.
Bonkers. Hunderte.
David is, I've got to meet this one or this one.
Das ist natürlich sehr, sehr krass. Also was Rhys jetzt hier rausgehauen hat, dass sie nicht mehr nur noch 100 haben oder ein bisschen mehr, sondern Hunderte, Ist jetzt natürlich die Frage, wie viel sind das? Sind das 200, 300? Ich denke auf jeden Fall 200 sollten es auf jeden Fall mittlerweile sein. Aber schon sehr, sehr krass, also nicht schlecht.
Handled it like it's crazy, right? And people understand that we're not just selling a product, right? We have this community, we have this incredible opportunity to bring collecting and really bring that experience to people, regardless of the actual pieces and the products. And you know, it is something that people want to get involved in, right? It's funny to see that even in the last 9 months, that perception of the industry go from, these are just JPEGs, it's a scam, to you know, to fundamentally attaching value to these things. And it's that in itself has been
I love it.
so much bigger than I thought.
Sarah, did you see the comment there from Matthew? And he talks about Dark Crystal, the Goonies, Gremlins. Like, I can't even. I mean, it's the nostalgia alone that Al Khan brings. Like, his name, his everything is amazing, and we can't forget that he's there. He's just that sleeping giant in the background, you know. He's it's pretty amazing. So that was an awesome comment, Matthew.
Yeah, I agree. And Matthew, I'm on the older side of the demographic, and my teenage boys know every one of those movies, and they survived watching all of them and then some. So as a responsible parent, their music and their movie exposure.
Good. You know, it would be really fun if we did get the Gremlins. Would be, you know, like after midnight, if it became animated.
Right? Like, jeez.
Can you imagine like the Gremlins in the VeVe verse? Like the like people say it's creeping Darrow. Like, remember that video someone had of the Darrow, like just
on the roof?
On the roof. That was Falcon, I think. That was Mr.
That was Falcon. Yeah, that was scary. That was so good.
So good, though.
Claire into buying one.
They're great. So yeah, I mean, there's so many cool brands there, and there's so many opportunities. And as you say, like Al Khan, his name and the weight behind that name definitely gave us the in at the start. But we have our own momentum now, you know. And David and Dan are just absolute weapons.
Killing it.
Now they can sit on the throne and have the content come to them.
It's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy.
Right?
I've been grinding for that long to be the ones with the solution that people want. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's good to see it kind of turn now. It's interesting to kind of see how the tides have turned when they spent so much time trying to go to people's doors and having them slammed in their flipping face, and they go into the next door slam, and now it's the complete opposite.
Yeah,
it's the complete opposite now. They are slamming doors in brands, in artists' faces. Like, you know, give me just
take a number. Take a number.
It's paid off. Like the karma has just, you know.
Oh, it's incredible. And to Monicon, sorry, just on that, you know, I did a panel with Luke Chu.
Saw it.
Right, but even in the panel, he wasn't sure about NFTs. Like, you know, you're releasing one tomorrow, right? Like,
I know.
let's have a chat. But Alex went over and did the drop with him, and he watched it kind of sell out. It's almost the same as when you buy your first crypto and you watch the price go up. Then you're like, oh, I'm gonna learn about this thing. He watched his NFT drop, and it sold out in half a second. Now, I guarantee he didn't sell that many Ghost Bears at the event, you know, or maybe he got close to, but it's that aha moment that really plays out for people. And not just that, like, there is a lot of hype in the wider NFT community. It is a bit of a greater fool theory on a lot of these products. But when it comes, and you know, I think most artists are hesitant because it's their creative work, right? They're not a big brand that's putting this thing out. It's something they've made. So to see them go through that process of skepticism, see the drop, and then the Omi homies, JD and Max, you know, they managed to catch Luke later that night.
I love that video.
Right? Like, reported the AR.
And then to find out that he was worried that no one would buy his. Like, all weekend, everyone's buying up the NFTs, and he still wasn't convinced. Like, he's going to be the one sitting there with his balloon and his hat, and no one's coming to his party. And we knew better, but to know that he feels that way it was mind blowing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, all of these things to watch again. And then of course, They go and tell their artist friends, like, hey, that went really well. You should call the guy, and we expand from there. Like, we'll definitely be doing more work with DesignerCon in the future anyway. Some other big weekends and things. I'm not sure on London DesignerCon yet.
Oh, you knew I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask. I'm definitely trying to wrangle a free trip, but
We've got high hopes, tell
Better get over here, y'all.
Yeah, is that London in April?
Yeah, if we can make it happen, then we'll try. But I think that was a surprise to us that it was coming up as well. So we'll just see.
Ich werde persönlich auch versuchen, wenn Vivi dort am Start sein sollte, dort auch tatsächlich vorbeizuschauen. Wäre schon auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr cool.
Again next year, I mean, all the cons are back on the list, and then VV will be on the road.
Well, I think we're all the UK in our pub session last week. We were discussing, and we'll have a VV present. We'll be there.
Perfect. Oh, you're gonna go? Yeah, regardless.
I think we are. I think we're all gonna go. Yeah.
And it's actually
have a link up.
Leave it to us.
Yeah,
no, maybe not.
Good, right? That is the true beauty of this. Like, it's. I would have full faith in letting people, help. I mean, it happened at DesignerCon this time, right? It's we're there as the faces, but the energy and the exuberance comes from you guys, from the community, and that's really what helps to cement our place as that leading NFT platform.
Looking at NFTs as well.
Aber sogar die Ankündigung jetzt direkt.
I can imagine that it cuts so many costs for them as well. I'm not sure what it costs to create an NFT, but I can imagine that they're not needing to use the materials that they usually have to use. So many other costs.
There's no logistics,
delivery. Yes.
All of those things are
a win-win
equation, right? It truly is global distribution in seconds. That's kind of the crazy underpinning of what we're offering, and as we touched on before, I mean, it's exposing these artists to a raft of new people, right? And it's a simple measure, but I've watched Ron English's Twitter following go from 8,000 or 9,000 to 14,000 or 15,000, and you get to know him in the spaces. And as we've all touched on before, it might be the premium brands, the Marvels and Disneys, that bring people in. But once they're in, they do go down that rabbit hole, the artist rabbit hole. They get to watch your videos, they get to join the spaces and understand the story behind the art, which for me personally is much more appealing than a mass-produced character or product.
It is.
So it's
And I see here, sorry, in the chat, I've seen anime there about 1,000 times. So,
schön guten Abend, Frank. Cool, dass du da bist. Hi.
So I don't know what you can share with us, but people are wondering about an anime vertical itself, or just part of, collectibles.
So the main holdup with anime, outside of the normal deals and that thing, is the language files. So we really need to add localization into the app. A lot of the anime community will be the Japanese community or the Southeast Asian or whatever. Obviously, there's fans around the world. But I'm not going to say it's unfair, but really it just wouldn't make sense to roll out a vertical like that without the proper access to the largest fan bases of those licenses. So I hate to say this, but it's coming soon.
Hashtag soon.
We obviously hashtag soon. We need the resources to do it, and localization.
That's a great point, though.
It's not just a matter of translating what's in the app. I mean, it means every app development or update that goes out, the lead time is massively extended to be able to account for each language group that we have in there. So it's not even just getting the files ready. It's actually scaling that part of the team or the business so that we can be better prepared every update. I mean,
and this is the epitome of VeVe and Ecomi, is quality over.
Always.
Yes, you did make, 13K in the first month of this year and 34 million last month, but that was not with a sacrifice to quality. And if David and Dan are not ready and they don't feel that it's going to be fair to the biggest fan base, why would they want the biggest fan base in the world, being mad at them or upset or feeling slighted in any way? To me, it's the most, strategic decision that they can make. And obviously for themselves, they're collectors as well. How would they feel if their favorite collectible they could not get? So it's, again, that you just summed up the team in a nutshell right there.
Exactly right. And you know, for the people who are here, obviously like Ultraman was released as a bit of a early, not necessarily anime, but the fan base
in the vertical.
So, you know, a little collecting hint there are some little nuggets like that can obviously benefit you down the line once we do bring on these verticals and add the localization. Yeah.
I mean, I must say, Crypto Far West, when he did the WTF one,
Brilliant.
and the amount of people, I'd given up trying to explain what VeVe was in the beginning, so I just used to give them that, and they used to go, wow. And all the excitement I used to feel like saying, if Marvel comes, game's over. But I think the thing that sticks with me the most is you and Dan having a conversation in your interview that he uses, and how you were discussing you were preparing for X amount of people coming in the app, and you had, well, more than you thought. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was probably a little nugget too at the time, to be fair. It's like, we're preparing for this many people, you should too.
Frank, ich will einfach diese wunderschöne Konversation hier einfach nicht stören. Ich finde das gerade so angenehm dazu zu hören. Das ist wirklich Wahnsinn. Deswegen habe ich dazu jetzt nichts gesagt, weil ich das nicht unterbrechen wollte.
Oh, I can say that.
Oh, nugget.
What?
Anime adjacent.
I like
What?
that. I like that
What does that
descriptor.
mean?
Anime
What does
adjacent.
Explain.
Well,
What do you mean?
Not full anime vertical, but anime aligned release.
Okay.
On the
Okay.
way. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll let Alex announce that in a couple of days.
Oh, the Twitter feed's going to be hot today.
I guess. Alex, come in the spaces later, dude. Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But
man, oh my god.
But somebody was discussing with me, and they were just saying, sort of like, if you imagine VeVe as making a dinner party for 100 guests, and you answer the phone at the door, and there's 1,000 there, what exactly do you do? Do you prioritize? Do you make the food into canapé so that everybody has a little piece, but nobody's satisfied? Or do you concentrate on the table and chairs, the seating? And it was kind of that.
That's a great analogy.
It is. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah,
really good.
Also Frank, wenn du willst, kannst du auf Discord kommen, dann können wir so quatschen, wenn du darauf Lust hast.
Did it literally get torn up at that point, and you were like, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah, the white paper we left behind a while ago. Once VeVe was live, we had delivered what we said we were going to, right? And it is funny when people still try to hold you to a white paper, hold a project to a white paper. Like we're actually one of the only companies who has delivered on what we said, and the white paper was always that initial product outline, you know, and here's what we're planning to do. Once the product was live, we're flying by the seat of our pants, basically. And obviously we have ambitions and plans, but for you who were with us earlier in the year, I mean,
wir können immer ganz kurz einmal nochmal zurückspulen. Ich bis tatsächlich.
And you had, well, more than you thought. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was probably a little nugget too at the time, to be fair. It's like, we're preparing for this many people, you should too.
Anime adjacent. Das muss ich jetzt mal nachschauen, was das hier ist. Anime Adjectives? Nee, das sind. Was ist denn das eigentlich? Okay. Ja. Gute Frage, was das ist. Ich habe da persönlich ehrlich gesagt gar keine Ahnung von. Weiß jemand von euch, was das ist? Aus dem Stream hier?
Oh, I can see. We had to refactor that. There was.
Oh, we remember.
Everybody who's complaining in the chat now about it being down so long, and then you've got OG saying the OG, days, weeks.
And that was again the choice we had to make. It was, I mean, we were the ones copping the punches to the face.
Oh, yeah.
And we still had to, you know, it was like, well, no, the right choice is just to close it until we can open it and it will work for everybody again. And we've done the same thing with each feature. That 3-4 months of refactoring everything was crucial to our success now, right? I mean, we couldn't have rolled out Disney or Marvel or anything like that with the app in that state. So it was, it was fundamental to us scaling. And now we have devs that are solely scaling. You know, they're always kind of refactoring these things because it will be an ongoing and ever-present issue, right? If we're sounds crazy to say this, but we're only just on the upwards trajectory now, right? We're not mainstream yet, and all of those things. So to keep that train rolling, we'll have to always be scaling the app and the features, and that's absolutely the intention.
What would you say has been your biggest kind of wow moment on the journey that you've been with VeVe up to now then?
Probably Disney.
Okay.
Probably Disney. I mean,
Ja, wird interessant, was das sein wird. Bin ich gespannt. Also, diese Woche wird auf jeden Fall extrem voll. Mehr kann man dazu nicht sagen.
We're not going to run
Set for life.
Right?
Set for life.
That, right? But to be able to demonstrate the app and the success of that, you know, they kind of use Marvel as a test case, which in and of itself is crazy. But to then be able to truly demonstrate what this is capable of, where this industry is going, to watch the learning curve that licensors and artists have gone through, you know, to be able to give us that IP and throw their weight behind us, right? Because like Disney is aware that they need to move into this digital space. So, you know, pretty much every other Citroen and DS have just been, you know, they've come to the same conclusion, right? And more we see that happening, but it doesn't get much bigger than Disney. And like, that in itself is validation for all of us. It's an incredible achievement. Like, hats off to David and Dan for pulling that one through and
absolutely
doing it in such an incredible way. And I mean, these brands are now, they do advertise a lot on their socials, right? They are putting us behind their brand too, which obviously has contributed to the growth so far, but every brand will continue to bring in more people and more collectors, and I really think that's a turning point for the whole NFT industry, not just us. Right, that is true validation for all of the creators out there that have been working in this space. So, yeah. So far, I'd put that down as the most monumental for VeVe. For me, DesignerCon, like meeting everybody, putting faces to the names, the energy there. I mean, all of that was.
We could feel it. We
feel it.
Yeah. We felt like we were there. I've said it so many times.
Oh my gosh, he's real. To get a hug, to have the you know, all the aforementioned COVID and not being able to see anybody, let alone people that you know, right? Let alone people that we don't know, but meeting all of us, you know, there. You guys were all there with us virtually, and it was unreal. It was exceeded expectations.
Absolutely. It was truly special. I thought I'd spend the whole time showcasing the app and introducing NFTs to people. Instead, I spent the whole time hugging people and signing autographs. It was a trip, but so awesome, you know. And obviously outside of the event, we all get to know each other a little bit better. It was a great time. I really enjoyed it.
It was amazing.
But I think that's sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, it just shows you as kind of the team VeVe, Ecomi, are almost famous and
which is ridiculous.
You know, it just shows how much.
Ja, du schreibst es, Frank. Es wird auf jeden Fall eine extrem krasse Woche. 3 Comic Drops, dann am Donnerstag Nacht auf Freitag AMA. Und irgendwas Anime-mäßiges am Samstag. Also es wird wirklich spannend. Ich habe persönlich auch meine Gems, die ich mir heute noch geholt habe, wirklich noch aufgespart, weil ich mir dachte so, vielleicht kommt ja Samstag was Interessantes. Wird spannend auf jeden Fall. Den ersten Anime-Drop sollte man definitiv nicht verpassen. Bin doch gespannt, von welchem Licenser das Ganze dann sein wird. Haben wir da eigentlich einen Licenser? Soweit ich weiß, nicht, was Anime angeht, oder?
You know, yeah, it's not That's been really interesting because we're not renting people's IP, but we're offering established artists an IP. But somehow in the mix of that, VeVe has become its own brand, and it really is moving into that, which we are the faces of. But it's
Nee, ich denke bald Samstag.
it's definitely
Frank.
more than we expected.
Bin ich mir ziemlich sicher.
I don't think we'll ever, you touched on it earlier, Mandy, David and Dan jumping into streams, and we collect the feedback, but it's not just feedback, it's conversation. I want to know how everyone is, right? It's not
great.
just, it's not just that. So to come out of this with an incredible product, an incredible community, and friends around the world.
Friends around the world.
We care about each other.
Yeah.
I love everybody on the stream. I love everybody in the chat. Like it's real.
Ja, genau deswegen, Frank. Deswegen ist es ja irgendwie. Frage ich mich ehrlich gesagt, welchen wir dort dann haben als Lizenzgeber. Oder was wir dort haben werden.
I sort of end off my day and she picks up the day, and then when she goes to bed I pick up in the morning and then tell her what she's missed while she slept. So it's the VeVe fam is 24/7.
It is 24/7.
And we do everything in VeVe time now, so it's the VeVe time zone. Sarah, you were going to
I was
wrap
going to say,
up with
Is it time?
Rhys, are you up for a friendly challenge?
Oh, this was not in the outline.
It's
You know
always
what's coming. Cool. So we've got a little challenge for you. It's slightly different to last time. So we've got some would you rather questions. We've got some
Konf Panda. Gar keine schlechte Sache, muss ich sagen. Kung Fu Panda ist jetzt nicht unbedingt, ich weiß nicht, aber es ist ein sehr guter Vorschlag, Yusuf. Also Kung Fu Panda hätten wir, glaube ich, tatsächlich sogar, beziehungsweise darüber den Lizenzgeber hätten wir sozusagen für Kung Fu Panda. Frank, was sagst du dazu? Dazu übrigens wegen dem Markt, der ist ja immer noch zu, wegen den Servern von Amazon, weil die halt immer noch wahrscheinlich total down sind. Keine Ahnung, was die da machen, wie lange das noch braucht. Ich denke mal, morgen sollte das Ganze aber wieder laufen.
A little bit better.
All right.
Are you good to go? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let's go for it. Canada or Australia?
Ah ja, okay, ja, dann ist das ja ziemlich safe eigentlich. Also könnte ich mir gut vorstellen auf jeden Fall.
It's snow season soon over in Canada, is that right? Yeah.
Ja, macht Sinn auf jeden Fall, Yusuf.
2 weeks ago now.
Mal schauen, ob du recht behältst.
Amazing. What motto would you choose to live by?
Oh, that's a good one.
This too shall pass.
Amazing. Love it. Love it.
And that's true both ways, right? It's true when it's positive and it's true when it's negative. So you always have to remember that when things are going well, this too shall pass.
It will pass.
That's a good
right?
one. Love
Yeah.
it. All right. Would you rather? You ready for this?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Would you rather be trapped in David's vault for a night, or be trapped in one of the Vaultaholics vaults for a night?
Oh,
Oh.
the Vaultaholics. The Vaultaholics.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm too scared to touch anything David owns.
Agreed.
Amazing. All right. Would you rather keep your job, but you're not allowed to invest in OMI,
Mm-hmm.
or invest in all the OMI you like, but not be allowed to work with the Akomi team?
That's a
Ooh.
question. Keep the job. My OMI bags are full.
Amazing.
Good answer.
Good answer, yeah. All right. Can you tell us one of your guilty pleasures?
One of my guilty pleasures.
Ooh.
I don't know what you would consider guilty or what I would consider guilty. I used to enjoy beatboxing a lot.
Shut
Wow,
up.
so you do it yourself?
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
No way.
It'll come out every now and again. Just a little on my own, drop a little beat. Not now, obviously, but
Oh, but no.
I'll get the pink bag. I'll go get the pink bag.
yeah.
Yes, we need
Yeah,
the
get the
bag.
big bag out.
Ja, Josef, du sagst, das ist eine sehr interessante Frage mit den Omis. Habe ich nämlich tatsächlich auch gerade so überlegt. Ist halt schon sehr interessant, ne? Also wenn er sagt, er würde lieber seine Omi-Bags voll machen, heißt das ja, dass wir auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr Großes erwarten können bei Omi. Denn, ja, sonst würde er das nicht wählen. Weil anscheinend hat das Team sehr, sehr Großes vor, auch ohne ihn. Also, ne, also ich würde auch meine Omi-Bags voll machen. An der Stelle natürlich kein finanzieller Ratschlag. Das ist natürlich nur meine Meinung. Frank, ja, soweit ich weiß, haben wir DreamWorks. Ich schaue aber gleich mal auf so einer Sache nochmal nach, wo das alles draufsteht.
When you come to London, we'll be expecting it then, right?
Here, and you know what else? You can beatbox, and Kay can breakdance.
Yes,
And
true.
Alex,
And you've got.
Yeah.
I can do the worm.
You can do
And
that.
Sarah's gonna do the worm.
We got a party.
I'll join in.
Dance trip. Hell yes.
All right. Would you rather be paid in Omi or Canadian dollar?
Omi.
Who would you rather be stuck in an elevator with? Alfred Kahn or Jeremy Padawer?
Oh.
Wir können uns das mal ganz kurz hier anschauen. Ich mache mal das ganz kurz hier drüben auf. Das ist jetzt mal ein Videoausschnitt hier gerade. Owner macht kurz leise. So, wo haben wir es? Da haben wir es. So, da haben wir doch schon einiges. Aber ich sehe tatsächlich jetzt gerade hier nicht DreamWorks. Aber ich bin mir eigentlich ziemlich sicher, dass wir das tatsächlich haben. Übersehe ich jetzt gerade was? Kann natürlich auch sein. Nee. Aber ich bin mir doch ziemlich sicher, dass wir das... Irgendwo habe ich das aber, glaube ich, schon mal gesehen, dass wir DreamWorks tatsächlich haben. Aber ich bin mir nicht zu 100% sicher, ehrlich gesagt. Naja, schauen wir den Stream weiter.
Alfred. I love Jeremy. Shout out Uncle Jeremy. But like, if I can
ja.
some knowledge.
Ja, jetzt habe ich es gesehen. Ja, da steht ja Kung Fu Panda. Dankeschön, Frank. Ja, dann macht es natürlich noch sehr viel realistischer damit. Keine Frage.
From Alfred Kahn? That's my definitely cool. Yeah.
Amazing. What would you do? What would you do if you found OBL in your showroom holding your favorite piece of art?
Ach herrje. Ach herrje. Ach du Heilige. Ja, ich bin schon ein bisschen übermüdet. Dankeschön, dass ihr auf jeden Fall noch am Start seid hier. Ich bin's nicht mehr so wirklich. Ja, jetzt habe ich es tatsächlich auch gesehen. Dankeschön.
Be confused?
How'd you get here?
What did you do here?
Unless the door opened again?
Alright,
Just
last
stalking in the
question. So we know that you've got a private pilot's license.
I do, yeah.
Ja, ist ja die Frage, ob man das wirklich als Anime bezeichnen kann, ne? Das ist halt fragwürdig. Aber ich meine, es wäre eine Möglichkeit, dass man mehr oder weniger so als Anime ähnlich irgendwie bezeichnen könnte, keine Ahnung.
From where I live, where I would fly, you've got mountains one way, ocean the other way, glaciers. I've chased pods of dolphins and orcas through the house sound and all of that. So like, this place kind of tops. You know, it's pretty beautiful. Like, flying in Australia and around tropical islands and things is beautiful, but yeah, it all kind of looks the same eventually. You know, whereas here it's you have to fly, right? You have to be in control because there's so many winds and things to account for, and the scenery is just so expansive and breathtaking. So yeah, I'd say Canada, North America.
Wow.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Wait till you come to Wales.
Thank you, Rhys. That was amazing.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
job, man.
Pleasure. Congratulations to all of you for relaunching. I look forward to
Thank
what you come out with, and any of the fam still watching. I think Taps is about to jump into a stream with Dan Shawbell as well, if you want. So
Oh, excellent.
additional TV content, it's coming at you.
Let's go.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
I
Really
just want to say thank you, everybody, and sorry for the technical difficulty.
I'll get through it. We can always do.
That's it. Can't handle a storm. It's no problem.
Awesome.
Schöne gute Nacht auf jeden Fall an dich, Frank. Dankeschön auf jeden Fall, dass du da warst. Sehr, sehr cool auf jeden Fall mit dir gewesen hier. Ja, und ich würde sagen, das war es jetzt auch eigentlich tatsächlich mit dem Stream. Ich hoffe, das hat euch hier auf jeden Fall gefallen. Und ansonsten können wir sowas sehr, sehr gerne öfter machen, wenn ihr darauf Lust habt. Genau, und ansonsten wünsche ich auf jeden Fall euch noch einen wunderschönen Morgen, Mittag oder Abend. Natürlich eine schöne gute Nacht an euch. Und macht's gut. Und wir sehen uns dann morgen im